Mr. Speaker, before I go on, I'd just like to correct some mistruths that my colleague on the other side just made. One, he mentioned that we borrowed to the tune of 60 billion Ghana cedis. Unless their 2025 budget is wrong. Go to page 14, paragraph 143. It says 49.4 billion cedis and not the 60 billion. Unless your 2025 budget was wrong. Two, and Mr. Speaker, this is the total debt of the country from independence to date. Mr. Speaker, again, he said he inherited an economy that was in a mess. An economy that was in a mess left 1 trillion of GDP as against 219 billion Ghana cedis in 2016. An economy that was in a mess, Mr. Speaker, we left 4 months of import cover, close to $9 billion. An economy that was in a mess. Mr. Speaker, again, he also mentioned that the IMF program was derailed. That is not correct and that is not true. We were here when the Finance Minister mentioned that when he came, he inherited an arrears to the tune of 68.7 billion. And based on that, he used it to calculate the deficit. Just last week, he came to correct himself, and I was expecting that he will go back to the numbers and correct it. He said they have validated the arrears of 68 billion, and it's only 47.4 billion. That is recognized arrears. So that if it is 47.4 billion that is recognized arrears, how then do you consistently use 6.8 to prove a point? They will have to check their data. There is a problem, and this boils down to the credibility of the budget, Mr. Speaker, and that should be checked. Mr. Speaker, we left a growth of 5.7%. Today, I'm happy that their budget, they claim, is on resetting for growth, jobs, and economic transformation. But, Mr. Speaker, what do you see? Half year, they have 6.3% of GDP growth. And yet, they are claiming that growth at the end of the year will be 4.8%. How is that, Mr. Speaker? Half year, you have a growth rate of 6.3%. End of the year, you are saying your growth rate will be 4.8%. I was hoping that when the minister was reading the budget, based on the improvements that they claim they have seen in the economy, they were going to adjust that figure to reflect reality. But here we are, he's saying that end year growth rate will still be 4.8, when half year is 6.3. Mr. Speaker, this budget, we are told, is transformative. What is transformational about this budget? Mr. Speaker, you are adding close to 50 billion in expenditure to the 2026 budget from 2025 budget. But what do we see in the growth numbers? A paltry 0.1% growth. They are forecasting that growth will increase to 4.9% from 4.8%. After the Nkukwan Kitinkiti, after the 200 schools and machinery and all the things they are saying they are going to do, Mr. Speaker, it is not reflecting in the growth. I'll take you to paragraph 41 of the budget, table 4. Mr. Speaker, look at the ECOWAS sub-region growth rates and look at the growth rates of Ghana. These are countries that we are on the same level with. Benin will grow at 7% in 2025, and then in 2026 grow at 6.7%. Mr. Speaker, Burkina Faso will grow at 4% in 2025, and in 2026, 4.8%. Cote d'Ivoire, very close to us, on the same level, will grow at 6.4%. Here we are, Ghana, 4.8%. And adding an additional 50 billion in expenditure, you are growing at 4.9. When half year, you claim you are doing 6.3. Mr. Speaker, the numbers are not telling that story. It is not adding up. So, Mr. Speaker, if you tell Ghanaians that this budget is focused on growth, and yet your growth numbers, what you are hoping to achieve with all the inputs that you are putting in, clearly there is something wrong, and they ought to recheck the numbers again. Mr. Speaker, but you must ask yourself, why do we see a dip in industry numbers? Industry fell from 7.1% to 3.2%. Mr. Speaker, do you know why? It is because of the 1D, 1F that has been cancelled, and other growth opportunities that have been taken away from the budget that needed to be continued to make sure that we propel the growth that we had already begun, because we closed growth at 5.7 in 2024. So, Mr. Speaker, it is the numbers that they have channeled that I'm speaking to. Yes. And so our majority leader will note that it is the numbers in the book that we are speaking to. And Mr. Speaker, let me also look at, let's look at infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the reason why we are not seeing that growth is because of infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, every infrastructure is infrastructure. So that you cannot tell us that the Accra-Kumasi road will be done in 2027 and that you have funds to do other equally important roads that you haven't even begun. But here we are, the Accra-Kumasi road. People take 8 good hours from Accra to Kumasi. Lots of working time, business time, economic time, Mr. Speaker. And so we have Accra Kumasi. It is to a certain rate. And we are asking, every infrastructure is infrastructure. Why don't you complete that one? And yet you are asking us, you will do so in 2027, Mr. Speaker. If this budget is a budget of growth, then they should look at this, because it is also very, very important. Mr. Speaker, one other thing that the teaming youth keep asking, not where is the 24-hour economy you promised us? You promised Ghanaians 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. You promised Ghanaians 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Where is it? Clearly, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the funding in the budget, on one page it says 90 million. On another page it says 110 million. So this is what I'm speaking to. Even the numbers in the budget are not adding up. Mr. Speaker, if this is dear to your heart and the theme of your budget is growth, jobs and economic transformation, and the 24-hour economy which says 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts, you are putting just 110 million or 90 million, then clearly you are just speaking to it and not actually making sure that it happens. Mr. Speaker, here we are, we claim, we all see the menace of Galamsey. But Mr. Speaker, it also has to do with the issue of joblessness. In as much as we're trying to reduce the menace of Galamsey, Mr. Speaker, the youth were promised jobs. The youth were promised jobs. So, Mr. Speaker, I expect us to do more. And if the theme of the budget says growth, jobs and economic transformation, then the numbers here are not telling that story. Because after all said and done, it is the numbers, it is the money, the allocation that you put into it that will see to the implementation of your policy. So, Mr. Speaker, that has also been found wanting. And then, Mr. Speaker, there's another important thing that I believe that we should all avail our minds to. Mr. Speaker, that has to do with the fight against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. Mr. Speaker, in the same budget, paragraph 1009, the minister said that the devastation caused by illegal mining has gone far beyond economics. It threatens our survival. That is what the minister said. It threatens our survival. So, Mr. Speaker, if something threatens your survival, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to fight it to make sure you survive. And how can you fight it when, with a ministry of 2.1 billion budget, you only give the agency to fight it 150 million Ghana cedis, Mr. Speaker? 150 million Ghana cedis out of the 2.1 billion budget given to the Ministry of Lands and Forestry. Mr. Speaker, when I compare it to the total budget, when you take out your compensation and you compare it to the total budget, 150 million, you compare it to the total budget, the contribution is 0.003%. 0.003%, Mr. Speaker. So how can you say that it goes beyond economics and it threatens our survival? If you put such an amount in there, Are you telling Ghanaians that you are fighting it, or you are just putting out words and playing with Ghanaians? Mr. Speaker, like I said, the Galamsey issue also has to do with jobs. And so we were thinking that beyond that, government was going to put some monies into the alternative livelihoods so that you can take them off the Galamsey and find some jobs for them to do. Mr. Speaker, in this same budget, you look at the monies that were allocated to the alternative livelihoods, just 35 million Ghana cedis. Just 1% of the 2.1 billion Ghana cedis under Ministry of Lands and Forestry. Now, Mr. Speaker, we all know, the Minister has also quoted, that this threatens our survival. Our major rivers are recording very high turbidity levels, and which is far above the WHO guidelines for safe drinking water. Our rivers are polluted and they are poisoned. Mr. Speaker, the media reports that there's rising stillbirths, there's increased cancer and chronic diseases, farmlands rendered sterile, and fish stocks shrinking and malformed. Mr. Speaker, and so if you say that it threatens our survival, I don't expect you to put 0.003% of the total budget into something that threatens your survival. Mr. Speaker, the Galamsey menace is a war. If it's a war, then this budget, Mr. Speaker, this budget is telling us that it's like we are in a battlefield with plastic chairs instead of armors to fight and make sure we win this. Because if you send 150, which is 7% of the total budget of the Ministry of Lands and Forestry, and 0.003%, then clearly it is not a matter of survival. It is just a matter of words. Words, fluffy words, that don't have any meaning. But Mr. Speaker, we need to rise above that. This is hurting us, this is killing us, this is poisoning our food. And so we need to do something more than that. I expect that before we approve this budget and pass appropriation, the minister would have amended the monies given to fight Galamsey and also to improve on the alternative livelihoods of people who are wind of Galamsey. Yeah. That is when you can tell me that this is really threatening our survival, and so you're doing something about it. But Mr. Speaker, all said and done, I believe that we should have a Galamsey emergency program with real financing. Because even Mr. Speaker, let me quote one thing that President Mahama said on the 3rd of October 2025. He said that Ghana needs a substantially bigger budget than what is currently available if the country is to win the fight against illegal mining. This was on 3rd of October. The budget was taken to cabinet. President Mahama got the opportunity to view the budget, and he knew how much was going to be used to fight Galamsey. Because of what he said, that we need a substantially bigger budget, I was expecting that he advises the minister to put in more than he has put in the budget for Galamsey. So, Mr. Speaker, I am asking, I'm proposing, and I believe that it is the wish, it is the heart desire of our citizens out there that we come up with a Galamsey emergency program with real financing, so that, Mr. Speaker, we will be able to address this menace. It is killing us, it is hurting us, and that will come back to hurt the economy. It will move beyond economic to us, our survival. So, Mr. Speaker, I would ask of you that the House will agree with me that it is something we should do. But all said and done, one last thing I want to put on record is that, Mr. Speaker, I am happy with the value for money office that they want, the minister wants to set. But I want to advise him. PPA is already doing that. PPA has that mandate. So why set up another office, incur more costs? The whole idea is very good. Mr. Speaker, that whole idea of value for money office is very, very good. But, Mr. Speaker, there is already an office set up for this. Transformation does not mean new offices. Transformation also means building their capacity, giving them what they ought to be given so that they can fight some of these things. I understand the minister.
Honourable Member, conclude.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.